and that kind of goes into my question. My question is, and we talked about this before we started rolling, that the U.S. has said he was already given a burial by sea. Does the U.S. need to show any video, any pictures of what occurred to kill bin Laden, number one? And number two, if the U.S. does, is that offensive to Islam?
We believe that Osama bin Laden is dead. There are always going to be people in our society who believe in conspiracy theories, and that goes across different ethnicities and different religions. But at the end of the day, Osama bin Laden, we believe he received justice. As far as him being photographed or any deceased being photographed, there is no prohibition in Islam clearly that states that someone who is deceased cannot be photographed. Saddam Hussein, after he was executed, he was photographed, and no one in the Muslim world really raised any concerns about Saddam Hussein being photographed after his execution.
Do you worry about there being any sort of revenge at this point for the death of Osama bin Laden?
Well, the elements that are prone to violence have in the past, and we pray they're not successful in the future, but this is something that our world has unfortunately been subjected to, and all I can say is we pray that it doesn't happen. Revenge is something that we as Muslims don't believe in. Forgiveness is a very important part of our faith, as much as it's part of other Abrahamic faith, and it's time to move forward. We're looking to a new chapter.
Do you think
it would also help if the United States government would make available all the information they have regarding the assault on him and his killing, because there are some questions out there in regards to him that are walking in and recognizing him in this compound where we've been looking for him for 10 years, and all of a sudden he walk in. So we believe that they got him, but whether we believe it or not, it would help the credibility of the United States government to make available all of the information they have and how they spotted him, how they knew he was there, and the events leading up to them capturing or killing him.
If I can say something too as well, and I said this earlier this morning, that it would serve our interests well as a nation that if our government did a thorough investigation and release the information in terms of Osama bin Laden and how long they knew he was staying at that location, because he was staying within less than a kilometer of a Pakistani military academy. You just don't live in a mansion right under the nose of the military and the National Intelligence Service and the most wanted man in the world without there being something fishy. And perhaps he was in a mansion eating caviar for the last decade and not in the cave like how many of us thought he was. I think that would help the American people reconcile the situation better. And I also think that it would help us reassess our association and our relationship with that entity in Pakistan.
Well, a man really ran an international organization. The man ran a very sophisticated, as we've been really hearing along the time since 1979 and along up till now. I believe we don't really need to question those they know him and they know who is really Osama bin Laden is, because they know about where he's at, they know about all the connection, and they, I believe at some times they dealt with him on the issues of Afghanistan and what happened at that time. So I don't have any question to our government about, you know, how this has happened and all what we know that he's been dealt with. justice has been served for all the people that really get killed, innocent people that they get killed over this. And I believe now our government has a new chapter, is to rebuild, you know, all what's really been destroyed in terms of relation based on what Osama and his associate did to the world.
Some are saying that bin Laden had lost most of his power, that he really wasn't the man in power, he was just the character they had. That there were a couple other people who really ran the organization. Do you think that bin Laden was actually in power rather than just a figurehead?
Well, we actually, in the United States of America, as Muslims, as Imams, we don't know him from Adam. And to be honest, and more thorough and sincere, the Muslim American been questioned about him. And yet, how you are going to know all of this unless you are from the fabric of his organization? And I believe our government and our capability of espionage and, you know, investigation, that we are more capable in knowing this on the top level of our administration than the Imams in the state of Michigan or the Imams in the United States of America.
I want to know, they say that the next person that we're looking for now that bin Laden is gone is an American-born Muslim who is now somewhat heading the extremist revolt. How does that make you feel that know that it's an American-born person using the internet, using the high-tech, you know, features? How does that make you feel?
Well, we've said before that Mr. Anwar al-Awlaki, who you're speaking of, should turn himself in immediately to the closest United States embassy. Mr. Anwar al-Awlaki started off preaching more of the mainstream Islam, and something happened to him where he got off into an extreme. As far as his relationship or his power in Al-Qaeda, as the Imam Mardini says, we don't have that type of knowledge to know what type of power, what type of control he has over the organization. We do know that he has said inaccurate things about the Islamic faith. We have warned our youth and our young people in regards to what he says, to stay away from his website and from the information that he says. Beyond that, I don't have much more to say about Mr. Anwar al-Awlaki.
The lesson for us is to be vigilant, and as Imam Dawood mentioned, we have to do our part in doing all we can in reducing violent extremism. And unfortunately, no one has control on the internet. And I think a lot of that comes through because of technology that we have no control on. But we do our part as the Imams and the community leaders to ensure that more of our youth are not exposed to these type of ideology.
I believe as far as Imam is concerned, over here in this part of the world, we can communicate every week. We are communicating public with our Friday sermon. We can educate our youngster about the bad effect of being extreme, or learning those things and going to those sites and visiting. We can create awareness among them. And I will have a request for the media also. Media can produce something to prevent our youngster from those kind of extremism and thinking of destruction. That is what I would.
Yes. Any other questions before we go?
Just to reiterate what you were saying at the beginning, Islamic tradition is a burial within how many hours? You said 24 to 48? Is that sort of locked in?
No. We don't generally, as a rule, embalm.
Right.
So, like the rule in this country is that you have to bury the person soon, because otherwise the body will start decomposing. But in our religion, we rush the person to the grave. We're rushing them to their reward. If they've been good people and they're going to heaven, we rush them to their reward. If they've been evil people, we rush them to their destiny. So the rule is to buried as soon as possible after death?
As the circumstances allowed.